Hi everyone. Today we're going to try a lentil bean stew. Okay. It is lovely, very creamy, very easy to make as well, and we'll get rocking. We'll turn on the old saucepan first, and then a little bit of use coconut oil. Okay. I'm using a different pan today, just a saucepan. Doesn't really matter, you can use this or you can use a wok, it really doesn't matter. Just a half a teaspoon of oil in there, coconut oil. Again, you can use the sprays if you want. These sprays, you can use that if you want. You can use oil, whatever you want, whatever oil you want. No oil, just a bit of water. Is good as well. Now, turn that down a bit. Down to medium. Okay, and I have one red onion here. I'm going to cook that up till it's nice and soft. Okay. Everything gets dumped in the sink then. I'll deal with it later. Okay. Sweat those off. Different weather out there today, it's a bit cloudy, but it's still very humid. I wouldn't know what to wear. Oh, and I forgot my apron today. Whoops. Oh well, no worries. No worries. A tidy little dish anyway. Won't be much splattering around when done. So just put one onion in here, chopped it up finely, red onion. I'm just sweating that off. Okay. And then what I'm going to put in here next is I'm going to put in a little bit of a garlic paste. I'm trying this today, it's a new paste. You can chop up your own garlic if you want, by all means, but I'm just going to put in a bit of a garlic paste, just about a half a teaspoon of it or a spoon of it. That's all. Yeah. I always put the garlic in after about a minute or two after the onions, because it doesn't need as much time to cook. So the onions always need a little bit more time. So garlic, you don't want to overcook the garlic, it gets kind of bitter. So yeah, we'll just put those off for a bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the onions, just put them in a bowl. I don't want them cooked anymore now. So they're just kind of, just sweat it off a little bit soft, you know. So we'll take those off. Can I turn that down a bit? You take those off, right? Add them again. I don't want them overcooked because I'm putting on courgettes next. I chopped up a full courgette. They take a bit, they need a lot of room as well, so I just chopped them thinly and then cross-chopped them again so they look like a kind of half moon. So yeah, I'm going to put those in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of water. Just use a teaspoon just to wet just a teaspoon of water. Wet the base so it doesn't get too overly hot. Just use a couple of teaspoons of water and turn it just so that there's a nice, get all the steam off there. Okay, a couple of the onions left by, that's fine. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our courgettes. It's a full courgette, I just chopped it up finely, so stick that in there. Let those sweat off now. Medium heat will do. Medium heat. Cook up there now. The spices I'm going to use today, I like to use the pink salt. It's the Himalayan salt because there's a lot more minerals in that, and it's much better for you. I use it. It's no harm. It's no harm to put in a spoon of that with the dishes. It gets all the juices out of the vegetables and adds a bit of flavour. And it's not like regular salt, it's not high processed, it's just pure Himalayan salt, loads of minerals, all very good for you. The other thing I'm going to be using today is bouillon. Bullion's a stock basically, it's like a powdered stock. You just add a spoon of it to a litre of water, and I'll be using that today. The spices I'm going to be using today is a little of Cajun, probably a spoon of Cajun, a spoon of smoked paprika. I'll put in a little bit of cumin, a spoon of cumin, basil, spoon of basil, a little bit of pepper, probably tamari, spoon of tamari, two spoons of tamari actually, and that's about it really, I think. Okay, so let's have a look at these. Keep stirring these up, courgettes, till they get kind of brown. They'll soften and they'll get brown. But, you know, have you just notice that they're getting a little bit brown. Keep stirring so they don't get stuck to the bottom, because the bottom's getting quite hot. Now, if you notice that the bottom is getting overly hot, again, you can add in another teaspoon, just a teaspoon of water. When you find it getting overly hot and things are beginning to stick or get brown looking at the base of the pot, so I'll show you now. Oops. I don't like to use too much oil because you have to be heart conscious as well. So I usually use about a half a teaspoon of oil, whatever oil you want to use, or a teaspoon max. And then just if things are starting to get kind of dark at the bottom of the pot, you just put in a little bit of, see there now, it's getting a little bit darker at the bottom. You just, basically a spoon of water will just hand that down a bit and we'll remove a lot of that. Okay. Just a bit of deglazing as they call it. So it'll all add nice flavour as well to the finished product. Kind of a smoky flavour, which is lovely. Very nice. Okay, so let's take a little bit of time. Again, you can chop them smaller if you want them to be cooked quicker. Which I should have done really, because a little bit of time, but you'll get there. You'll get there in the end. There's no rush with these dishes really. You have a bit of fun with them, enjoy them, enjoy the smells and the aromas, they're lovely. And what I like to do is, in the morning time when I get up, if you find after your breakfast you can have half an hour there, you get your dish prepped and cooked up, you can just cover it then and push it to the back of the cooker there and let it sit for the day, and when you come home it'll have marinated beautifully. Now if you can't do that, you know, just basically cook it up and let it sit for about a half an hour if you can, and just let it marinate, and it'll still be nice and warm when you're finished, but it means that the flavours will have had a chance to develop, and everything just tastes so much better. It's like the old lasagna. When you're cooking lasagna, it's always better the second night because the marination of the flavours is just divine. Now that's kind of looking a little bit better. Looking nicely cooked now. I'll show it to you in a minute. And I'm just going to, before I show it to you, I'm going to cook for another while. I'm going to put it up a bit. You can put it up a little bit more, say 3/4 way if you want, just to speed it up a bit. And you'll notice it getting brown. There you go. So I'll just add in another teaspoon of water, or 2 maybe. There you go, and get a nice brown off the base of that. Those flavours mixing up. There we go. Shake around. got a new bird feeder last night. It's a peanut butter one, so I'm going to see how they like it. Hopefully they'll like it. We stuck it up, Jim and I stuck it up last night in the shed, just outside the shed, so if I get any birds feeding off it, I'll let you know. There was a little blue tit I have this little house, kind of a house, a little wooden house with a little hole, and the bird tits go into it and they feed in the nest and all the rest of it. So I'm keeping an eye out during the day every so often to see if they're going to feed. The birds, I'll show it to you again, the bird nest is there and the little feeder's down here, so I'm hoping they'll feed regularly off each other and basically get to see lots of birds, because there's definitely a lot of them out there these days. 2 more spoons of that if you notice it getting kind of stuck now. It could be getting extra brown, and that's good because it means it's cooking away. So at this stage I'm going to add good dessert spoonful of tamari, maybe 2. It's nice. 2 spoonfuls of that. Now this is going to coat the courgette nicely, and it's also going to get a nice residue on the base of the pan. See, you get a nice kind of coat there, if you can see it on the. Now I'm going to turn this down a bit to medium again. You get a nice coat on that, right? Okay. Nice coat on that, and then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my spices. Again, have the water, I'll put a little bit more water in there in case you need it, and this gets a little smoky. I'll use a teaspoon. Okay, so we are going to use, I'll turn it down now. I'd say turn it down to a simmer when you're adding in the spices, so everything gets kind of, doesn't get too hot. So we're going to do that's wet now, so we'll get another one. I'm a devil for spoons. I use about 40 spoons at a time. I cook, it's gas. Jim be slagging me saying, Ginny Mac, how'd you manage to use so many spoons? So what I'm going to do is smoked paprika first, right? So I'm going to get a teaspoon of that. And don't worry if a little bit of it gets out around, because it's fine, it won't be too much around, too much more in it. Cajun seasoning, that little fella there. Put a teaspoon of that in as well. Okay. Then we're going to put a teaspoon of, put a teaspoon of salt, the Himalayan salt. Put that in there as well. Okay. And this is the basil. Put a teaspoon of basil in. Okay. And I'm going to put in a bit of cumin. Cumin's lovely in the dish. That's a lovely bit of flavour. So put in the cumin. Teaspoon of cumin. Okay, and I thought I had something else there. What have I got? Yeah, I did. Coriander. Teaspoon of coriander. Teaspoon of coriander. There you go. There, that's lovely. Okay. So we're gonna just. Now, if it's getting stuck to the base of this pan, just add in your teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of water. Turn it back up to medium and mix it all around. Again, coating all the courgettes. All the courgettes getting coated there. Okay. And we're going to put it back in the onions. Get the onions coated now as well. Okay. Getting a lovely coat on them, all the spices, purple spices. And at this stage, you can put in another teaspoon of tamari. Just a teaspoon. I think we already had it quite a bit, so we'll put in another teaspoon of tamari just to get a lot of the flavour there. Okay, you can see there with that. Okay, mix it all in. And then you'll see this lovely, away from the flame, mind the flame, this lovely kind of coated vegetable, loads of flavour coming off that, loads of smells coming off that. So it's just like your kitchen is going to be divine. So yeah, there you go. Now at this stage, right, I have 2 tins, one of chickpeas and one of kidney beans, and I rinse them and I'm going to add those now to the dish. Okay, at this stage, rinse all that in there, put all that in there, and again, mix it all together. So it's all getting nice and coated, getting a little bit of heat to the beans. Okay, and again, if there is sticking to the bottom, add in another teaspoon. As you need it, you add the teaspoons of water. Okay, so that you can get all that lovely flavour off the base of the pan. Alright, there's no sticking, just get all that glaze off the pan, bottom of the pan. You're deglazing and it's giving flavour, lovely smoky flavour all off the sides. So it's all, then you have a lovely, well coated beans and vegetables in there. Okay, you have your, back over it, you have your onions that you fried up first, and then you took them out and you put in your chopped courgettes. You can add in a bit of garlic paste there if you want. Then we what do we do then? We put in our courgettes and we added in our spices, and we back in the onions, and we put in the beans. Just coat them all again. Any questions you have about any of the dishes I have, ask away and I'll answer them, because I know it can get a little bit confusing, but I hope if you have any questions you'll feel free to ask me and I'll answer anything you want. By all means, I'd be more than happy to help you, because the nicer you eat and the healthier you eat, the more you enjoy your food. That's important. You know, I have my sister over in Canada was trying these dishes for the first time last December, and she now loves them and cooks them regularly. And my sister in Canada is the same. Oh no, my sister in England is the same. She's tried these lately, only since last, I think it was, where are we now, March I'd say she started doing these, and now she's like addicted. She's like, my God, I hardly ever eat anything that is meat anymore, but I do add it in. And with any of these dishes, if you ever have anybody, like we have my son's girlfriend comes over and she's a meat eater, and that's perfectly fine. All I do is I cook up these dishes, right, and then at the end I'll quickly cook a breast of chicken for her and add it into her portion, and it's beautiful. She loves them. She loves them because she's getting everything that she wants, and she's happy and we're happy, you know. So I mean, anybody who wants to add in any fish or chicken into these dishes, by all means add them in at the end. If you want them vegetarian or they're vegan actually, but plant-based meals, if you want to make a plant-based meal at any stage, meat-based, just add in the meat at the end for the people who want the meat. And again, with all these dishes, everywhere I use, like say the milks and the yogurts, I use plant-based stuff. Just use regular stuff if that's what you want, and that's perfectly fine. Absolutely. They're beautifully delicious. They're just lighter when they're like this, and they're more easily digested, you know. So okay, enough of my talking now. Okay, so that looks all lovely now, and that's very nicely cooked, you know. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to show you. I got a mug of lentils and a half a mug of rice, and I soaked them. Now you can soak them at the beginning of the dish and then sieve them out by the time you get to the stage that have soaked for about 20 minutes or so, or you can soak them for overnight basically. I threw them on this morning. It's now about, it's 20 to 3 or 20 to 2 is it? And I threw them on, I soaked them 2 minutes, throw them into a pot of water, a mug of the the lentils and a half a mug of the rice. Just throw them in a pot, add in your water to cover them well, and basically then let them sit, and when the time comes then you strain them and you add them into that dish. Okay, just add them in there. Okay, add them in, get them all in there. Okay, so we're nearly there now, nearly there. Okay, so they go in there, right? I think, okay, and we mix that around again. Now the heat is down to pretty low now at this stage. Just, you don't need massive heat at this stage, right? So you just get them well mixed up. Okay, well mixed up. Okay, there we go, well mixed up. That's lovely. Okay, so it just ends up looking like that, okay, with everything mixed up. Now what we need is, you can use a stock cube, one stock cube, or you can use bouillon. I like bouillon, it's just a little powder, and use a teaspoon of that inside with, a teaspoon of that with a litre of water, okay? So basically, just rinse this out. Okay, so I've got the kettle here and I'm going to fill up this with water. Okay. Just another spoon. A spoon of this bouillon. Just use a heap spoon, teaspoon, mix it in. Okay. Okay, so that's practically a litre of water. Okay, that's pretty, and also if I can find them, okay, you can use, I don't have it handy now, you can use either a litre of stock and a tin of tomatoes, which is quite nice, or you can use 2 litres of stock, so it's completely up to yourself. I would just put that in there, this goes there, and then I'll fill it up again. I don't have it handy now, put everything in there. Okay, there we go. Another litre of that in there. Okay. And add your second spoon of bouillon into the dish. Okay, there we go. And then you just mix it around, okay? There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave that then to sit for, let's see, now here's the lid. I'll leave that sit there at a simmer, right, for, I suppose, at least half an hour, right, at least half an hour, and come back then and check it, right, and it should be lovely. It should be lovely. It's a very easy dish. It's very easy to digest, and it's gorgeous. I love it, and they love it here in the house. So basically, it'll just get thicker and creamier because all the lentils and all the rice will absorb all the juices, right? So that'll get nice and thick now. And if you want, right, when it's done, if you want to add some coconut cream or some full fat, I always recommend full fat coconut oil because it's nice and creamy, and they're your good fats, so I mean it's good for your brain and everything. So basically, if you want it a little creamier, you can always add in a tin of full fat coconut oil. It's beautiful, beautiful. I'll just see if I have a tin there. Let's see. No, I don't seem to have it. I'm out of it at the moment, but just a tin we used before, just a little can of coconut milk, and and basically put that in there, full fat, nice and creamy. If you want it to be, you know, more creamy. If it's too thick, if you find it is too thick, just add in a little bit more stock. You can decide the consistency you want, so it's basically a personal choice. So let that sit there for about half an hour and see how it is. Take a check. I would give it about an hour and a half before dinner to just start, if you're starting from scratch, just so you give it enough time, because it just needs to sit and marinate, and it's very good. Also, what you could put in here is parsnip if you wanted, or sweet potato. You could also always add in some there if you wanted. You can put in some carrots and anything you want really. Any of the root veg is good. So listen, just have fun with it. Add in what you want. Try it out. Try out the simple version there. Try it out and see how you get on. And then the second time you can try it out with other stuff that you want. But it's whatever you like.